March is known for the end of winter and the arrival of springtime, a season of warmth and renewal. For history buffs, it's also known for the date Julius Caesar met his last. But don't let time pass you by like a bunch of old Romans. Hello again, SA here. And I'm just here to remind you to get your copy of my book series, Glitch. It's available on Barnes & Noble and other fine bookstores, as well as Amazon. The links are down below in the description. And while you're out enjoying the spring weather, you can also indulge in my story of a kidnapped teen model and a reluctant jewel thief who are on the run from the law. Yeah, you don't have to guess. I still have other books coming down the pike. So as long as I don't run into any difficulties. You'll be seeing those books too, I'm sure. Now let's get back to the video. Hello again, SA here. Recently, they had the Academy Awards ceremony here in California. And if I remember correctly, I think it's the 96th Academy Awards. I didn't watch it. In fact, I haven't watched an Academy Award show since I think it was the year that the Tom Hanks film Philadelphia was nominated. Why? Because I'm a Springsteen fan, and Springsteen's song Streets of Philadelphia was up for a nomination. And it won. So there you go. But the thing is, when you look at the history of the Academy Awards, you say, so people get together and hand them out these big gleaming statues they could probably bust somebody upside the head with, or at least, crack walnuts with. Yeah, that's a fair explanation. But the funny thing about the Motion Picture Academy is that that's not what its original origin was. According to history books, Louis B. Mayer, the guy who used to run MGM, he helped bring about the Academy Awards back in the 20s as a mechanism for labor disputes between the studios and the various, actors, producers, directors, and whatnot. Problem is, it didn't stay there. According to the history books, over a series of meetings in 1927 primarily, the damn Academy organization slowly morphed into something different. And indeed, according to the history books, it was around this time that it was decided that they should start handing out what they referred to as an award for merit. But they didn't finalize it until 1928. They didn't have their first actual Academy Awards ceremony until 1929. But I have to admit, even though it kind of went bust as an idea for labor disputes, it supposedly maintained its basic paradigm as being an organization for handing out awards of merit. I figure, yeah, that's fair. Now, of course, anyone who has paid attention to the Academy Awards know that sometimes they would hand out awards that probably weren't kosher. Like, for example, I think it was one year they handed out an award. I think it was 1950. I think it was handed out an award for a film called The Greatest Show on Earth. And you say, really never heard of that film. You know, it was about the Ringling Brothers and Brian Bailey Circus, but it was a fictional life story. But I think, if I remember correctly, I think some people felt that it shouldn't have won because the film wasn't that good. Hey, everyone has their taste. And indeed, people complained again more recently when I think it was Crash, the film. I think it came out the year 2000. I think it was. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think it was the year 2000. It was nominated. Yeah, yeah, the 78th Academy Awards. Yeah, it was 2004. I was in the right ballpark. Yeah, the film, I saw it. It was okay. It wasn't like it was a terrible movie, but it won an Academy Award for Best Picture. And a lot of people felt, I don't think so. They weren't feeling it. And then, of course, in the meantime, on the flip side of that, you had movies like Titanic. Big film. I saw it. It was okay. I mean, the ship sank, so I meant that was something. But it was on record being the biggest Academy Award show. I mean, how big? Uh, According to the Nielsen's, I think it was like 57 million people watched it. I mean, that's like Super Bowl numbers. Now, of course, you're saying, but hasn't Academy Awards film show always had big numbers? Yeah, true. Indeed, according to Nielsen, the biggest ratings ever that the Academy Awards got, as far as Nielsen ratings concerned, was the was the was the 1970 Academy Awards. I think it's the 42nd Academy Awards happened in 1970, where Midnight Cowboy won Best Picture. And I saw Midnight Cowboy. I saw it in a drive-in theater. And I have to admit, I didn't understand it. I mean, I saw what was happening on screen, but I didn't quite understand what was happening. But I didn't like the ending because, you know, if you saw the film, you remember that Dustin Hoffman's character playing Ratso Rizzo, he was sick. And John Voight, he was this boy toy, what we call, and he was they're both hanging out in New York, having sex with men for money. And he was going to help Dustin Hoffman, and they decided to go to Florida, because it was warmer. But they didn't make it, because you remember Dustin Hoffman died on the bus, and I thought that was really sad. But I didn't quite understand everything that happened in between. Of course, I saw it later as an adult, and I said, "Oh, that's what's going on. Okay, I get it." But yeah, now films like Titanic and Midnight Cowboy, good films. You watch it sometime. Yeah, you figure, yeah, these films are really great films, and they will probably be well known for a very long time. But more recently, a funny thing has happened at the Academy Awards. Very funny thing. It appears that diversity, equity, and inclusion has come to the Academy Awards. No joke. Indeed, if you can go to the Academy Award website right now and look up representation and inclusion standards, believe me, it's not something that old Louis B. Mayer probably would be embracing. Indeed, it says right here, the Academy Award Motion Picture. Uh, Ignore that. Yeah, telemarketers. But anyway, it says on the website, the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences Representation and Inclusion Standards for the Oscars eligibility for Best Picture category are designed to encourage equability representation on and off screen to better reflect diversity global populations. In other words, wokeism. Now, at this point, you're thinking, why on earth would they do that? Well, on the surface, you would say it's a virtue signal, but unfortunately, it's not. It's worse because it looks like they're trying to force, producers, studios to basically add, people to their films if they want to even be considered for an Academy Award. I mean, for example, the very first thing it says is that if you want to even be considered for a Best Picture nomination, you have to have a lead or significant supporting actor who represents a racial or ethnic minority. And they got off on the wrong foot when amongst the various minorities they mention Latinx. And of course, anyone who's hanging out with any Hispanics knows that you can call them a lot of things. You can call them an asshole, a dickhead, a puto, but don't call them Latinx. Just don't. Just don't. And then one of the things they said is, you can hire at least 30% of all the actors in minor roles. And I'm thinking, really, dude? I mean, how's that going to work for, like, say, The Madness of King George? And anyone who saw that film knows the complexion of everyone in that film. So there you go. And then they said another parameter would be the main story or subject matter. Would have to focus on either women, racial minorities, or gay people. Really? Now, of course, anyone who saw La Cage aux Folles, Birds of a Feather, that old French film, which is a funny film, you should look it up sometime. It was all about gay people, but it was a comedy, and it was funny, but it was organic. These Frenchies made a film about a bunch of gay guys running a nightclub called Birds of a Feather, which is La Cage aux Folles in French, and it was a funny movie. But this here, this is basically taking the woke camera and bashing the damn studios over their head, so you have to have to make a film about women or gay people. I mean, you really don't. I mean, let's get this abundantly clear. There is nothing in the Constitution. There is no in the Bill of Rights. There's nothing inside the Geneva Conventions that says that you have to make movies about women, about brown people, or gay people. If you're a filmmaker, you can go through your whole life and make movies about cats, or dogs, or trees, or the sky. You don't have to make a movie about women, brown people, or gays, okay? And the fact that they actually put that in their parameters is ridiculous. And then they say, another way you can get your Academy Awards, you have to have people, brown, ethnic minorities, and other so-called unrepresented people in your creative leadership department. So what does that mean in English? I have to turn that damn thing off. It means that you have to have, according to their rules now.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
I got to turn off that phone. At least 2 of the following creative leadership positions. We're talking casting director, cinematography, composer, costume designer, director, editor, hairstylist, makeup artist, producer, production designer, set designer, sound, special effects advisor, writer. Has to be a woman, a racial minority, or a gay person. Really, dude? Do you have any idea how many screenwriters there are in Hollywood who are not old white guys? Yeah, about that many. And as for makeup artists, well, hell, all of them are gay anyway, so there you go. But all these other positions? Really, dude? I mean, really, dude? I mean, if I took a rock and threw it in the direction of Bel Air or in the direction of West LA, I seriously doubt that I could hit someone who is a cinematographer, a composer, a casting director, a set designer, an editor who works in Hollywood, who is anything but a woman, a racial minority, or a gay person. In other words, these people are practically unicorns. So there you go. And then, of course, they have other rules, such as standards. And what does that mean? It means a film can achieve this standard by meeting criteria in at least one of the following areas. A paid apprenticeship. What does that mean? It means a film distribution or financial company has a paid apprenticeship that are from the following underrepresented groups. So in proper English, that means that you go to the local Walmart, find some homeless guy, and says, "Hey, you want a job?" And they say, "What I want to do? Simple. We're gonna give you a bath. We're gonna put you in a second-hand suit we got from Goodwill. We're gonna have you stand in the background when we take a group photo of the cast and crew for our $1 million motion picture, and then you're gonna hold up a sign that says token representation." And the homeless guy will say, "How much you gonna give me?" Say, "We'll give you $20 and a free coupon at McDonald's." And the homeless guy say, "All right." So there you go. Paid apprenticeship. I mean, really, dude? I mean, it makes no sense. Okay, it makes no sense. I mean, anyone who knows anything about Hollywood knows that they call it Tinseltown for a reason, because a lot of it's fake. And anyone who is smart enough to know these Hollywood types knows that these people can easily fake an apprenticeship. They will just have a group photo of the cast, have that one brown person or that one person with the green or pink hair, that's the gay one, and say, "Oh, that's our paid apprentice," and they get past the loophole. No joke. It's ridiculous. And then they say, "Oh, another way you can get your Academy Award statue is a training opportunity," which also can be faked. Since it says here, the film production, distribution, or finance company offer training or work opportunities for underrepresented people. And I'm thinking, oh, really? And how they going to, how people at Academy Awards going to prove they didn't do that, huh? And then finally, they have audience development. Ooh, what does that mean in English? It means to achieve a standard D, that's on the list. The film must meet criterion below: representation and development, marketing, publicity, and distribution. The studio or film company has multiple in-house senior executives belonging to at least two represented groups, their creative development, marketing, publicity, or distribution arm, and at least one individual who must belong to an underrepresented group. And of course, the usual people: women, brown people, and gay guys. So what does that translate in English? I guess it means that they will have someone sitting in the front office. They take a quick picture and say, "Yo, yeah, there's our representative for development and marketing sitting right there." So that guy doesn't work there. He's actually the janitor. And they asked him, "Hey, can you sit here for a minute and don't move?" And they said, "Oh, by the way, put on the sport coat, okay? Yeah, Yeah, just sit right there. Don't have to smile, just sit there. And then they'll take a quick picture and say, yeah, see, there's our staff, all these white people. And then they have that one brown person sitting over there. That's the janitor. But they got him in a sport coat, so he's part of their, since this called the marketing department, they say, oh, here's our one brown person there. It's a joke. And I have a feeling that these people at the academy, I think they know it's a joke. I mean, these rules are ridiculous. It's just plain ridiculous. I mean, there is no, I mean, seriously. These people at the Academy Award, they make up these rules, but short of the first one, a lead actor who's, not a white guy, beyond that one, and of course, I mean, beyond the actors, people in front of the camera, the rest of these rules are easily can be bypassed, can be faked. No joke. I mean, just look what happened just recently with the most recent Academy Awards. Because, like I said, I wasn't paying attention, okay? But I looked at the results afterwards, and you know who won Best Picture? That guy Murphy, the Irish dude. He ain't brown, and I don't think he's gay. I think already he's married. He won it for Oppenheimer. Okay, Oppenheimer, from what I read, is a good movie. I didn't see it, but I know the history of Oppenheimer, so well, there you go. And then who won Best Actress? Emma Stone. For what? Oh, that weird porn film, Poor Things, which was made by that Greek guy, Latamatos. I actually seen some of Latamatos's films, like that one. What is it? Oh God, I can't remember. Yeah, the one with the uh, brain freeze. Brain freeze. Because, like I said, I've seen this guy's films before. And they're all weird. They're all strange. They're all kooky. They're all bizarro. And I guess this was the first big Hollywood film he's made, even though he's made a whole bunch of films before that. Because the first film of his I saw was a Dogtooth, and it was a weird film about a bunch of kids who were being abused by their parents. And no, I don't mean that way. They were basically, parents had gone crazy and told the kids that the world had come to an end and they were the last people left alive. And then they had they made another film called Attenberg, which was another weird film about crazy people. But the film I think that most people probably saw was The Lobster with Colin Farrell. Now that film was wacky, but it was actually entertaining. About people in a weird sci-fi future where if you couldn't find a significant other, you get turned into some kind of non-human life form, and he chose to be turned into a lobster. So there you go. But I think the one that was really I thought was really sad was that killing of a sacred deer. Now that one I thought was really fucked up, because in that film, Colin Farrell, he was a drunk who was also a surgeon. He screwed up somebody's surgery, and the next of kin put a gypsy curse on his family, and all his family was basically suffering all kinds of weird illnesses. And then the next of kin said, oh, by the way, if you kill one of your family members outright, the curse is lifted. And Colin Farrell was forced to kill one of his family members. And sure enough, the curse was lifted. Like I said, that was a really fucked up story. No joke. But this current film, Poor Things, yeah, it's a wacky porn film about, from what I read, is basically a retelling of the Frankenstein story, except it's perverted, because you have basically a woman who has died, and the guy takes the brain of a baby and sticks it in her skull, and then when the woman comes back to life, he starts using her as a sex toy. And you say, and they gave that film, and they gave Emma Stone the Academy Award for that. Yeah, they did. So there you go. But anyway, yeah. When you look at the people who won the Academy Awards this year, like Robert, Downey, he got his Academy Award also for Oppenheimer, as well as Christopher Nolan, who is a great director. No joke, no knocking him. I actually like Christopher Nolan. I think he's probably the best director alive right now. Even though I still like Ridley Scott and I still love Michael Mann, Christopher Nolan, the guy, he's legit. Excellent director. I wouldn't mind working for him. No joke. In fact, the only person who could you could say fit the parameters of the DEI Academy Award rules, who actually won an Academy Award, was this woman, Divine Joy Randolph. Yeah, she won it for this film called The Leftovers, the weird Paul Giamatti film. I remember reading about this film, and it reminded me of The Paper Chase. It's really old John Houseman film from the 70s. Don't sweat it. About people in academia who are basically not coping. Yeah, but anyway, the woman the woman who won, some brown lady, she had a small role in the film. She was basically playing the housemaid. And you say, wait, what? Yeah, that's right. But from what I read, she did a good job. And therefore they gave her an Academy Award. Because I think in the storyline, this Randolph woman's character supposedly I can't remember if it was her son or her husband had died in Vietnam, because the story takes place around 1970. So there you go. And I guess she did such a good job that they gave her an Academy Award. So there you go. But anyway, when it comes to this DEI stuff, if they seriously try to enforce this garbage, you're probably not going to see Emma Stone or Murphy or Robert Downey or even Christopher Nolan, or I should say someone with their complexion, winning any future awards for Best Picture. Now, of course, right now you're saying, but you said that these people in Hollywood are smart cookies. They can probably, do a little fanciness and work their way around the rules. Yeah, in theory. But if these clowns at the Academy Oscars really bring the hammer down and say, you're going to put brown people in your movie and you're going to like it, I mean, these people are going to have a hard time trying to make their films eligible. And thus, when you look at what's happening now compared to what happened at the beginning, when those awards were basically being handed out as a form of merit, and now it's basically they totally just twisted the whole thing and basically turned into one big fat virtue signal. This could be the beginning of the end of the Academy Awards. And I ain't just talking about the ratings, because according to the Nielsen's, the ratings have been steadily declining since they first started broadcasting the Oscars back in 1960, when Ben-Hur, won Best Picture. And I saw Ben-Hur. Good film. Didn't read the book though, but I saw the film. That's good enough. But if you look at the Nielsen ratings, from 1960 all the way through the 70s and 80s, the ratings have gone steadily down, downtown. All the way down. And indeed, the worst rating they had ever for the Academy Awards, you know what it was? It was for I think it was Yeah, 2021. You know how many people watched it? 10 million people. That's it. 10 million people watched the damn Academy Awards back in 2021. Now, of course, Tim Pool, he said that the reason why the ratings are so low is because people have a huge, glut of programming to watch. And I will concede, yeah, that's probably true, but that's only half true. The real reason is A, the quality of the films. I mean, we're not talking about the films like the same ones from the past. Movies like Lawrence of Arabia, movies like The Godfather, movies like the first Star Wars film, or Raging Bull, or even some of the really old ones, like Citizen Kane, or Gone with the Wind. I mean, the films they make nowadays are simply not on that caliber, okay? I'm not saying that the films now all suck and all are garbage. I mean, Oppenheimer, from what I read, it seems like a pretty good film. And Christopher Nolan, like I said, he does pretty good work. But beyond him, most of the films that are being made now, coming out of Hollywood, and you look at the stuff that was made 50 or even like almost 100 years ago, the quality, it just ain't there. And audiences ain't feeling it. And that's the real reason why the audiences has dipped for the Academy Awards. The films are in other words, these films that are winning these awards, most people ain't watching. And the last film, I think I mentioned it, that got a whole lot of people tuning in just to watch was that third Lord of the Rings film, which was a good movie. But since then, yeah, it's just into the toilet. And then with all this DEI garbage on top of it, yeah. Don't expect the Academy Awards to be around for its 200th anniversary. Because the way the clock is running right now, yeah, they will reach their 100th anniversary, I think, in 2028. But if this DEI stuff and all this other garbage keeps happening, and if the quality of the films keeps dribbling down, then, like I said, don't hold your breath to see a 200th anniversary Academy Award show in 2128. It's probably not going to happen. You dig? Well, that's all I got to say about the diminishing returns at the Academy Award and that DEI garbage, which is not helping. And that's my opinion.